be sharing about the risk factors and solutions as Sheila had briefed just now. But the keynote of our weekly program every Thursday, why so many people tune in, is because you get to ask any question you want. So whether it be a specific case related to our topic for tonight for colorectal cancer, or if you want to ask about breast cancer, or even other immune deficiencies, or even if you want to know something about your cough, all right? So all questions are on the table. We look forward to seeing you in about 15 minutes after the short discussion. Look forward to joining Dr. Jansen to answering all your questions tonight. Again, I hand the time back to Sheila.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. All right, now on to our next health expert who will also be sharing a patient case presentation tonight. He is a graduate from St. Luke's Medical Center, College of Medicine. He is also a diplomat of International Board of Lifestyle Medicine and Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. He is also an integrative medicine doctor, a medical consultant of a Simply Healed Medical Group, and a consultant at Alta Integrative Medicine and Wellness Complex at Perpetual Health Medical Center, Las Piñas, where he manages patients with cancer and metabolic illnesses. Let's all watch this.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Dr. Jansen telling you another story of a patient of mine. So I hope for this discussion, although it will be very short, I hope you learn a lot. No? So without further ado, let's begin. This is a patient who is a 52-year-old female. So basically, they went to me. They sought for my help because the patient refused to undergo chemotherapy, despite having a fourth stage colorectal cancer. Now, how this colorectal cancer started? So this was her story. March 2023, she began to experience abdominal pain. Now, associated with her abdominal pain, she was not able to move her bowel for 7 days. This was actually the trigger point for the consultation. Now, upon laboratory workup, lab investigation, consultations with the specialist, it was revealed that there was a mass at her sigmoid colon. So just to point where the sigmoid colon is, if you take a look at this picture, that red or maroon circle that you're seeing, that is the sigmoid colon. Further down would already be your rectum. Okay, so that is where the mass was found, basically. Okay, so upon further investigation, the patient underwent a CT scan. This was the findings. So at the sigmoid colon, there was a mass that was around 3.5 by 1.5 centimeters. Okay, it's actually obstructing the sigmoid colon already, which also gave the patient the symptom of bowel habit changes on top of the constipation that she experienced. Now, another symptom or a telltale sign of colorectal cancer is an alternating episode of constipation and diarrhea. That's another telltale sign. Okay, aside from the diarrhea that 7 days that lasts for at least a week. Okay. Now, upon further investigation, there were also hypodensities in her liver at segment 8 and segment 6. Okay, so these would now be suspected metastasis. Okay. Furthermore, in her uterus, there was a large myoma, 9 centimeters at that. Okay. The good news is there was no pelvic lymphadenopathies that were noted. This is very important because usually, for colorectal cancer, lymph nodes enlarge, no, especially in advanced stages. Why? Because this is where the cancer cells migrate to for metastasize initially before they go further elsewhere. However, for this patient, there was no there were no lymphadenopathies found. Immediately, we saw this one. Okay, the non-enhancing hypodensity found in the liver, 2 hypodensity. Okay. Next, on April 2023, she underwent a surgical removal of the mass. A colostomy bag was then inserted into her abdomen. Now, since she had her sigmoid colon removed, this colostomy bag is where her uh, stool comes out. Okay, so that's what happened. So then afterwards, chemotherapy was recommended. Why? Because of the stage 4 colorectal cancer, because of the liver metastases. Okay. However, again, the patient refused because of her back pain and difficulty in ambulation. Okay, so those were the main hindrance um, to chemotherapy. Then the following month, on May 2023, a chest CT scan was now done. And it was found that in her lung, there were multiple nodules, sub-centimeter nodules, that are quite worrisome. So now these would be considered as metastases as well. Also, on her bones, there were also blastic changes. So this blastic changes in the CT scan finding, this is actually bone metastases. So with these information, what do we have then? With these information, we have liver metastases, bone metastases, and lung metastases. We now have a disseminated colorectal cancer. Okay, so she went to me complaining of pain as well, and for the pain, she was only taking this one, etoricoxib. This is also known as your arcoxia, but it was not effective already. So I actually shifted her to another medication, which I will discuss later. Okay, so that's basically it. Now, when it comes to the staging, again, when it comes to the staging, the patient already had metastases in the liver, in the lungs, and in the bones. So it is stage 4. What she has is stage 4 already. Okay, so these are the areas of metastases. Okay. Now, what are the other considerations that we have to look into? It's her myoma. Okay, what can we do about this? Okay, so next would be the final diagnosis. This is the final diagnosis of the patient. Now, let's go into the treatment plan. For the treatment plan, I recommended a curative approach using megadose vitamin C and PPAR therapy. Initially for 3 months, and we would be monitoring her quarterly. I also gave her Dolcet, tramadol plus paracetamol, initially at 1 tablet every 8 hours. However, she reported that it wasn't enough. So I gave her 1 tablet every 6 hours as needed for pain. With the Dolcet, she was now able to sleep much better compared to before. Before, she was not able to sleep at all because of the pain. Okay. Now, let's discuss some evidences that we have for megadose IV vitamin C and PPAR therapy for the management of colon cancer. So this is one study that I have found. This is actually a third-party study that was done on PPAR agonists, mainly obtained from this strain of microalgae and its effect on colon carcinoma or colon cancer. And the researchers mainly found that PPAR agonists inhibits the growth of colon carcinoma directly and indirectly through the activation of the immune system. This is actually one of the benefits of PPAR, or not really benefits, no, but the main mechanism of action of PPAR agonists. Okay, so it has inhibitory effect on the growth of colon cancer, and also it stimulates the patient's immune system so that the immune system can kill the cancer cells. So next, let's look into megadose IV vitamin C. What evidence do we have that this can be effective? So these are actually two researchers from the Harvard Medical School Harvard Medical School. So these two researchers investigated the effect of intravenous high-dose vitamin C, specifically in colon cancer. And they found that high-dose vitamin C therapy can reduce the number and size of the tumors. Okay, especially if the colon cancer cells has these specific mutations. Okay, compared to without. Now, what this conclusion just tells us is that colon cancer cells that do not have these mutations, megadose IV vitamin C can be effective. If you have these two mutations, it will be more effective. Okay, that's basically what this conclusion tells us. And basically how it megadose IV vitamin C at sufficiently high doses would generate free radicals, okay, which will ultimately kill the cancer cell. Now, the free radicals, this principle is the same with chemotherapy. Chemotherapy also kills cancer cells through free radicals. Okay, so it has basically the same mechanism of action. Okay. However, the good news is IV megadose vitamin C doesn't affect the healthy cells that much because the healthy cells or or cells that are non-cancerous have an intact antioxidant system still. So they still have the protection necessary in combating the free radicals generated from this treatment. However, for cancer cells, their antioxidant system are either saturated already, it's overused already. So just a little bit of free radicals would kill them off. Essentially, that's the mechanism of action that they are claiming. Okay, so that's it. This is a very short discussion to allow for more questions. No, so thank you everyone for listening. If you have questions, please send them in the comment section. Okay, thank you everyone.
There's a miracle in this simple nature.
Marami po akong natutunan dito sa seminar na ito.
I would recommend it to people who have illnesses, even cancer.
We're always with you from start to healing.
Hi, this is Shan, and I'm here to update you with a quick teaser. October 14th of 2023, we had our very first post-pandemic face-to-face conference on cancer, and it was a smash hit. The participants loved the ability to ask our panelists of myself, Dr. Jansen, our expert in lifestyle medicine, and Dr. Jimmy Katapia, who's our oncological surgeon. They were able to get all the answers they wanted about cancer and whether or not to go for surgery. So we are planning in 2024 another session by popular demand because everyone wanted us to have another one so that they can bring their friends. So a quick teaser, we're going to have back Dr. Jansen, Dr. Jimmy Katapia, so all of you with questions on chemotherapy, on surgery, the doctors and the panelists are there to answer your question. And we have an upcoming special guest. We are hoping to get someone who is going to be an expert on diagnosis, something as very interesting like liquid biopsy, all right? So that's something new and on the cutting edge of cancer diagnostics. So those of you who could not make it for our face-to-face, well, this time round in 2024 on March 16th, we're gonna do ours with a Zoom option. So those of you who are in the province who can't join us here in Metro Manila, look out for the details so that you can join us on the Zoomcast.
We are now in what we call AMA or Ask Me Anything portion. For those of you who just came in, our topic for tonight is breaking down colorectal cancer. Now, let's not keep you waiting. I'd like to call on, of course, our two experts who will be answering our questions for tonight. Starting off, of course, once again with our PPARS expert from Singapore, Mr. Shyan Lim, and of course, our medical consultant from Simply Healed Medical Group, Dr. Jansen Tankalalan. Good evening, Sir Shyan, and good evening, Dr. Jansen.
Good evening, Sheila. Good evening, Doc.
Hi, hello Sheila. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Shan. Happy to be here again. Happy to see you.
Look forward to seeing you in person on March 16th. That's two
next week
Saturdays from now.
Yeah.
Right. And Doc, we have I think you'll be very happy to know there'll be additional panelists that will join us. We couldn't get the diagnostic one, but we managed to get Dr. Johan.
Oh, nice.
That'll be really
excited to see him.
Yes. So for all our viewers tonight, and those who will watch our recast, Dr. Johan is a is one of the founding members of the College of Lifestyle Medicine in Philippines and actually in Southeast Asia. And he actually treats cancer totally naturally, not even supplements actually. He really uses diets, lifestyle changes, and he'll be there. So we have integrative medicine, which is a combination of non-traditional and conventional medicine, traditional and conventional medicine and innovative forms of treatment and protocols. That will be Dr. Jansen. He specializes in integrative medicine, especially in cancer. And we have our oncological surgeon, Dr. Jimmy, who does chemotherapy, immunotherapy as well, in addition to surgery. And last but not least, we have on the panelist, Dr. Johan, who is totally 100% natural. So I think that's going to be wonderful for all the viewers and participants, that you can ask all these doctors together, right, Doc? Usually when you ask one doctor, you ask a conventional doctor, they say don't take supplements. If you ask some integrative doctors, they say don't use chemotherapy. So it's really nice that we have all the doctors on stage at the same time. So for all our viewers, that will be a great reaction, and you'll be able to get very honest and wonderful and compatible answers. All right, you see how actually the doctors are all focused on one thing, which is for you to get the best treatment and the best chance of beating your cancer. All right, so without further ado, let's go on to our AMA.
Very, very quickly, sir, because I know I can see the excitement on your faces, Dr. Jansen and Sir Shyan, okay? But I believe all the more that our participants should be excited as well, because there are a lot of promos that will be available during that day only, of course, most especially for our face-to-face participants. And not to mention, take advantage of the live AMA portion with our doctors as well. So there you go. All right, now on to our first question for tonight, coming from Ms. Lalaine Felicitas from Davao. Is colonics okay for prevention of cancer?
Interesting question, Doc.
Okay, yeah. Just for everybody's information, no? So colonics is basically enema. Okay? So in Tagalog, that's labatiba. Colonics, what you do there is to inject water inside the colon to flush the feces out, flush the toxins out, okay? Flush the bile out, okay? So that's what it is. All right? Now, colonics is very good for cleansing the colon. Okay? It's really good for cleaning out the bad stuff. However, if you still continue to eat bad, no, you won't be able to prevent cancer or colorectal cancer if you still continue to eat junk. Okay? So while colonics is good for cleaning the colon, making sure that all the carcinogens and everything that's toxic is eliminated, if you could still continue putting in on junk, then of course, no, the harm will still be there. The risk for developing cancer will still be there. Okay, so what you want, the approach here would be clean out the colon, but of course you have to make sure that you're eating correctly. Okay.
So Doc, normally when people go for colonics, like if we bathe, right, we shower, as easily as a few hours later we get dirty again. So when we clean out our colon, how fast do we dirty it up again? How fast before we actually, I guess, go back to that state where we maybe need another colonics?
Yeah, as soon as your next meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. But so I guess that's one thing Dr. Jansen has highlighted. You still gotta watch what you eat. So if your next meal is full of nonsense, the build-up is starting immediately. Doc, I just wanted to highlight that in Singapore and in maybe Malaysia especially, right, there are actually a lot of products for colon cleansing. And these are done orally, all right? Oral colon cleansing. These, I just want to let our viewers know, especially if you're viewing from Malaysia, where this is a bit more popular, that can be very dangerous because usually colon cleansers are harsh because these are not, you're not flushing it with coffee or water. You're actually taking some herbal mix and it agitates your colon and cleanses it out, right? You're not flushing it. You are causing it agitation. So don't use oral colon cleansers. There are people who have actually died from oral colon cleansers. Those are very harsh. I would really advise you, if you really want to clean your colon, start taking a high fiber diet, right? And take Cleansing Plus if you want some gentle colon cleaning over a period of time. Or if you really want to go for enema or colonics at a certified place. Again, Philippines, I think a few years ago, there was some colonics was very popular, and then there was some, I guess, colonics that was not done properly. And after that, DOH, Department of Health, actually clamped down on it or put it under microscope. It's not to say that colonics is not a good protocol. It's just that make sure you go to a good clinic, a reputable clinic, a reputable outfit to do your colonics. All right. And yeah, enemas have proven to be very effective. And yeah, I heard, Doc, if you do an enema, your skin glows after that because your toxins are pulled out of you.
Yeah, that's correct, especially for coffee enema. Coffee enema increases the production of glutathione by the liver by 700 times. So it's really a very good detoxing agent. However, please don't do it at home. Okay, it has to be done in the proper facility.
Thank you. Oh,
And
you're
not
on mute.
it gets messy if you do it at home, okay? You don't want to have to clean up after your own mess. Okay, next question.
Thank you. That was interesting. All right. So the next question coming from Ms. Chachiko Sanchez. Been using Simply Nature's colon cleanse for almost 3 months now. So far, this is the only product that works for my constipation. Question: can I really take this every day for a long period of time? No side effects?
Oh, let me answer this one. There is going to be like a diminishing return after a certain amount of time, right? Like for example, because the Cleansing Plus is a dietary fiber supplement. So once you take it enough, the amount of dietary fiber in your body is sufficient. And also with any food, right? Just like when we eat nutritious food. So sometimes your body gets used to it, right? And then it's not as effective anymore, and you want to like rotate. I think Dr. Jansen talked about this before, rotating different supplements, different protocols. It's just like exercise. You just keep doing one type of push-up. It's not, it's going to be a diminishing return. So if you ever find that the cleanse actually, the efficacy actually drops, it's because you're used to it. So you just take a break from it, maybe for a week. You find that after that, when you use it again, it's going to be effective. Now, do we advocate that you use Cleansing Plus daily long term? The whole idea is this. I think Dr. Jansen will totally agree with me. We really want to try to get most of what we can from our diet. All right. So yeah, it is safe to use for long term, but if you are using a dietary fiber supplement every day long term, that means there is fundamentally something wrong with your probably your diet in your lifestyle. So that is definitely worth changing. So I will really encourage once you become more regular. So I have a friend, this one is a personal friend. She had lazy bowels, right? Yeah. So surprisingly, when she used Cleansing Plus, it actually trained her bowels to move again. Okay. So how long did she use it for? I think 3 or 4 months, if I'm not wrong. And after that, she uses it maybe once or twice a week only. Okay. So with dietary fiber like this, we want our colon to be working. Because dietary fiber, you can get it from your diet, and you should. Because if your diet has low fiber, it really means you're choosing all the wrong foods, like the fast foods, the processed foods. That's why they're low fiber. So not only are you taking low fiber food, you're actually taking food that is heavily processed, and that's not good for your health. So that's another reason why you want to also become regular through your normal eating and not just rely on cleanse. So there you go. Cleanse is really good. for something to help you, especially if you went to Vikings or just had a buffet, all right, or just ate a lot of stuff that you didn't want to eat and you want to clear. Cleansing Plus is also very useful if you feel a fever or you thought you got food poisoning or something like that, right? You're feeling unwell. So just cleaning your GI, your intestinal tract, detoxing your stomach and everything can actually sometimes starve away the incoming illness, right? The incoming fever. That actually works very well also. So also for chemotherapy patients, they often get constipated. There you will need assistance because at that point, your appetite is also affected. All right. So to answer your question, yes, it is. But personally, I want to encourage you to make it your goal that you use Cleansing Plus, right? Maybe 2 to 3 times a week, maybe on the days that you are eating heavily. Try to get natural fibers from Cleansing Plus is natural fibers, but what I'm just saying is try to eat foods that are high in fiber because that's actually the right foods for you to take, right, Doc?
Yeah, that's right. Also, one thing that I use cleansing plus for, or Psyllium has, is for diarrhea. So for patients who are on chemotherapy, if you suffer from diarrhea, um, cleansing plus is a good product to hold water. So this is also a stool former. You can also form stool, no? So yeah, try it out, especially for patients who are undergoing chemotherapy who develop diarrhea. Yeah.
Well, Doc, that's a really good one because normally we think constipated, right? On the other end of constipation is diarrhea. You will not think that the same product works for both ends. So yeah, it makes sense, Doc, because it will help bulk up your stool by absorbing the water. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, there, we all learned something, even myself. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful answer. All right. So the next question coming from Ms. Marichel Barcelona from Davao. What really happens if there's a bleeding in your poop?
Okay, there are various reasons why we bleed, no, when you poop. Say, for example, your stool bulk is too big, so that can produce micro tears, no? Yeah, micro tears along the opening of your around the anus, okay? So of course, if there are tears, then there can be bleeding, okay? If it's so, then it's something that you might want to, consider eating more fiber, especially the soluble ones, drinking more water so that the stool softens. So those are some tips, no? Now, if the bleeding is persistent, it stays there, then the bleeding, for example, is profuse, no, really profuse, then this warrants medical consultation already. And more often than not, a colonoscopy should be done. Okay, this is to make sure that there are no polyps, colon masses, no, present inside your large intestine. Okay, this is for blood in your stool that is very red or bright red. Okay, it's like fresh blood, no? You just pull out fresh blood. Okay. On the other hand, no, when you poop out a stool that is black in color, okay, so how black is it? It's like your hair, that black. Okay. If it's black, then there's bleeding at the upper part of your GI tract. So bleeding can come from your stomach, it can come from your small intestine, especially the first portion of your small intestine, no? If it's so, then there might be ulceration, okay, and some other underlying problems. So this needs consultation from a doctor, and more often than not, a camera has to be, inserted down your throat to see if there are any ulcerations where the bleeding is coming from. If you are taking iron supplements, that can also change the color of your stool. It can turn black. So don't panic if you are taking iron supplement and you see that your stool is darker in color. Okay, so be careful of these signs and symptoms. No, but when you bleed, no, when you are after you poo, usually it's just micro tears. Okay, nothing to be afraid about. Don't panic. Okay, go see your doctor. Okay,
Yeah.
so that your doctor can request for labs for you to do to check where the bleed is coming from. Okay.
Sir Sean, would you like to add anything?
No, I think just it's really important to check your stool every day. You know, check the color of your stool, consistency of your stool. Just Google this thing called Bristol chart. That will give you a clear indication whether you have healthy stool or not. Just for your information, most of us probably think the solid stool is the good one. Actually, you'd be surprised. Good stool is almost like just slightly firmer than the soft serve that you get from 7-Eleven. All right, because it will not cause micro vibrations on your anus as you push it out, right? And correct. So check your stool color. Stool shouldn't sink. If it sinks, then okay, that means toxins are coming out of your body. You need to adjust your lifestyle and your diet. Right, a good stool doesn't float either. It's sort of like half submerged. Okay, it's like suspended in the middle. All right, that's actually good stool. So if you poop and ploop and it sinks right to the bottom, you probably have to start watching your diet. Start taking lighter food, food that's not so spice. I would say rich, not so rich. All right, yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the next question. But it's a good question about stool.
Indeed, it is a good question. I just also want to call out the mothers out there. Like, you have to check your kids' stools as well to be able to know your kids' health status always.
Oh, really? As a mom, can you give us some tips on that?
Well, this is I say this is a good question because not everybody looks at their stool.
Yeah, it is important.
Everybody has to know that it's very important as well. Okay. All right. Next question coming from is Glenn's Regala. Will taking wheatgrass, yogurt, and probiotics be beneficial to cancer patients?
Okay. Wheatgrass, yes, because wheatgrass has antioxidants, phytonutrients. No, it's a plant. Okay. Probiotics, yes, because that will the probiotics can help digest the fiber that you just ate to produce the necessary nutrients to fight cancer and of course to modulate your immune system. Yogurt, sad to say, it doesn't help. Okay, in fact, it can even harm, no, because yogurt has dairy. Yogurt is dairy basically.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
Dairy has protein, which causes tumor growth. It promotes tumor growth. Okay, so the specific protein found in milk that does this is casein. So that's casein. Okay, so that's casein. So be careful of this. Okay.
Doc, I just wanted to add to this comment. Many of us actually get very good advice in a sense that we are told that if we eat fish oils, that's good for us. We eat yogurt because it's rich in probiotics, so that's good for us. We want the probiotics for the fish oil. We want the B3s or the B6s, right? And I just want to let everyone know, Dr. Jansen has actually talked about this and before, is this. Yes, you are right that we want to have probiotics. We want the vitamin Bs. There are better options for cancer patients. All right, so that's the thing. We're not saying that yogurt is bad because you will read so much literature that says yogurt is good, right? So why are we here saying that yogurt is not so good? It's because there are better options to get your probiotics because yogurt contains dairy. So for cancer patients, dairy is not a positive thing. So then it's sort of like because of the probiotic, you also take something negative, which is dairy. So why not go for probiotics that does not contain dairy? Then you get the benefit that you wanted from yogurt and you avoided the slight or the negative side of yogurt, which is dairy, right? So for people who are lactose intolerant, they don't eat yogurt, right? So many people say yogurt is a good food, but then again, there are people who are lactose intolerant, they cannot eat yogurt. So let's look at it from this perspective. There are better options than to take fish oil or by getting your vitamin B groups from, let's say, algae like Chlorella spirulina or Pipa Plus tablets. All right, so that's a better option. So when you hear in our program, when we recommend something or we make a comment on something, one good way to understand is that, yes, there are many foods that are very good, have good effects for cancer. Part of those foods are good for cancer, but they also sometimes contain things that are not ideal for a cancer patient to take. And because you're a cancer patient, you want to take the best, right? So you choose the best option. Like the one that I was very shocked when Dr. Jansen shared with me was kimchi. Because of the Korean culture going, we all hate you, right? We watch so many K-drama, and we also picked up a lot of Korean health concepts. And we think that kimchi is good for us. I mean, the Koreans eat so much of it, right? Then later, when I found out, Dr. Jansen said the statistics, Koreans have a higher than normal, is it stomach cancer, doc? Or yeah, because they eat so much kimchi. So there you go. We know all the benefits of kimchi, but there are better sources to get those benefits. And that's what we're talking about. Back to you, Sheila.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Okay, another question. Talking about spirulina, since you've mentioned that one, coming from Ms. Rapunzel Fuentes, may I know the difference between PPARs and spirulina tablets or capsules?
Okay, sure. Spirulina is actually okay, first of all, I might as well throw in chlorella as well, right? So these are the major algae that you will hear. Chlorella and spirulina, which is the better algae? Both are great, okay? So both are great. What's the strength of spirulina? Generally speaking, spirulina is more nutritious than chlorella and more nutritious than Simply Nature PPAR's tablets. Okay. However, when we take health supplements, we're not just going for pure nutrition alone. We want certain special properties that are found. So for Simply Nature PPAR tablets and chlorella, we both contain this thing called CGF, which is a chlorella growth factor. So that's something unique, and that's something that you find in all your infant formulas, right? They will say contains CGF, high in DHA and all that. That is actually found greater only in chlorella and Simply Nature PPAR tablets, not found in spirulina. But spirulina is slightly superior in terms of nutrition. I believe it has more vitamin C, if I'm not wrong. All right, so both are great products, okay? Both are great for supplements. Now, what's the difference between then Simply Nature tablets and chlorella? The main difference is that we contain PPAR agonist, right? Chlorella does not. Okay, so this PPAR agonist, you only need minute amounts of it for health maintenance. It activates your cells. Okay, it's a gene activator. But for those of us who are fighting cancer, then it does a lot more. So the research that Dr. Jansen showed today about for colon cancer, where the extract actually cause colon cancer cells to die, to induce apoptosis. This one we have for lung cancer as well. So that is the action that is unique to PPAR's protocols, right? It's not available in spirulina. Okay, so for spirulina, great nutrition. It is a superfood. It is a super green. It lacks CGF and it lacks the PPAR agonist that is found in PPAR tablets. So chlorella has CGF, which spirulina does not have. Simply Nature PPAR tablets has the CGF that chlorella has, and in addition to that, it has PPAR agonists. So it really is the best of the best when it comes to microalgae. All right. I hope that that's a very direct and simple comparison for you to choose. All right. So the strength of spirulina is very nutritious. Very nutritious, superfood, super green.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. All right. So for those of you who wish to have a consult with Dr. Jansen Kalala, please just type in how to consult, or the link for you to book a consult with Dr. Jansen is also in the description box and the comments and the comment section. Also, I see here that someone is asking how to join the March 16 SMX event. Okay. Well, for those of you who also wish to join the SMX event, you can also type in how to join the March 16, and definitely Miss Jen will get in touch with you right away on how you can join. Okay. All right. So for our next question, this was thrown to us privately by Miss Yumi. Is Triphala good for gut health?
Come again? What's that?
Triphala. TRIPHA. LE.
Okay, I don't know what that is, so I cannot comment.
Yeah, I'm also Googling right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
shall we proceed first with the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Coming from Ms. Jen Chang. Hi, Cleansing Plus prevents colorectal cancer. Can it also prevent cancer in the small intestine? Thank you.
Okay, what's good for your large colon is also good for your small colon. Okay, but please remember, no product can prevent cancer. So even with Cleansing Plus, okay, if you still continue to eat junk, right, the harm will still be there. Okay, the risk will still be there. Okay, so what's important is you minimize eating junk and you boost up the fiber. Okay, so that's how you reduce your risk of developing colon cancer, not prevent totally. Okay.
I think this is a good point. I think what all of us are asking when we say I guess for all our viewers, let's just take the opportunity to clarify in your own understanding as well. I believe when you say, what can I take to prevent cancer? You are saying, what can I take to make myself immune to getting cancer? All right. So you want cancer immunity. Well, that is not possible. That's not possible because just growing old, your body becomes cancerous. Because cancer is the wrong replication of your cells. So as we age, that in itself will come in. Okay. So the fact that we will have to die one day is the point that you can't really be immune to the mechanisms that will lead to cancer. But what we can do is to reduce, as what Dr. Jansen said, reduce your chances of developing cancer. It's like keeping your engine running smooth to the very last day. All right. Keeping your engine running smooth to the very last day. All right. So that's what you want to do. So and cancer prevention in the sense of reducing your chances of developing cancer. It's not a one approach. There's no one magic bullet. All right. There's no one magic bullet. The general concept is right to keep yourself detoxed, keep inflammation under control, give yourself your immune system must be fueled and activated because your immune system actually gets rid of wrong cells or cancer cells on a daily basis. So a strong immune system is a big factor in reducing your risk in developing cancer. Okay, so that's important. So we take different supplements, different lifestyle changes to achieve that effect. And it all adds up. It all adds up. So if you take Cleansing Plus and PIPA tablets and exercise and take lots of green vegetables, then your chances of developing cancer really drops very, very significantly. Okay. So, and why do we hesitate to say you'll be immune? Because I'm sure all of us have met or heard of stories of people who who jog every day, eat so healthy, and everything, and yet they got cancer. And then some of us said, if that's the case, I might as well eat Jollibee, Kentucky Fried Chicken every day anyway, because look at that health buff, right? He exercises every day, he eats so healthy, and yet he develops cancer. So that's why you can't really be immune to getting cancer. But you can take note that a person that is very healthy, who has led a very cancer-resistant life, when they do get cancer, they can also recover from cancer with a higher chance than a normal person. All right, because their body is also strong and will probably react well to protocols to fight their cancer. So it's always important to lead a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Okay, so next question coming from Ms. Geraldine Bugarin. Dr. Jansen, I had a consult with you last February 27. I'm from Lipa City, and I just finished my chemotherapy. What's the best PPARs for me? Ronaldine Buffy. It's her name.
I have to review your medical records. It's gonna take a while, so I think you have to schedule a consult, no? But in general, for patients who are undergoing chemo, who are strong enough, I usually recommend PPARS powder. Okay, so for PPARS powder, the dose that I use is 5 scoops twice a day. Okay.
So for this particular patient of Dr. Jansen, one suggestion, I think you can drop a message to your healthcare specialist, Miss Beth, right, Doc? Yeah. So just in the event that you don't need a full-blown consult, you can check with Miss Beth, and Miss Beth can assist you. But of course, see Doc Jansen. And if you want to kill many birds with one stone, you want to get a good deal. If you're going to get PPAR powder, can come for the March 16 event. You get to ask Doc Jansen, and there'll be promos on that day as well. So might as well, right? If you're in Metro Manila, we would love to see you in person.
Who doesn't want freebies, right? It's the best day to get that. Okay, thank you, Sir Shyan. All right, coming from Miss Denise Sayo, how about taking barley grass food supplement? Does it help? I just also want to have a follow-up question on this one, because this is a common question coming from our patients, and they are asking if it's also okay to be taken alongside PPARs. There.
Okay, I can answer that question first, and then Doc, you can answer about the barley. Okay, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Or you can take it alongside PPARs. But if you're taking the extracts, like the liquid or the extract powder, those are our concentrated ones. I will strongly suggest you take it separately. All right, simply because the PPAR extracts are, number one, they are more on the expensive side. So you want to take it on its own and not mix it with anything. So when I say that you take it separately, I don't mean that you cannot take your barley. I just mean that you should take your PPAR and have at least an hour and a half before you take anything else. So let your body fully just absorb the PPAR extracts, be it powder or liquid, on its own, all right, without mixing it with anything. Okay, so that's it. But for the tablets, that's actually fine. Another thing I want to share with everyone is one of the advantages of PPAR tablets is the cost. Actually, is also the cost. You realize that PPAR tablets has one of the highest chlorophyll content. I think it rivals or may even beat wheatgrass. Okay, and it's 40% plant protein. 60% plant protein and everything. So in other words, if you're taking a mixture of things like wheatgrass and barley grass and all this, your PPAR tablet actually covers all of it. So cost-wise, in one supplement, you actually get the benefit of everything that you're taking now. All right. Now, does it mean that you won't benefit when you take wheatgrass? No, definitely. You can then take wheatgrass or barley grass as part of a smoothie, right? If you take smoothies 3 or 4 times a week, you blended drinks, you do juicing. Yeah, you add your wheatgrass powder or whatever into that, right? But you can actually handle what your daily needs through the PPAR tablets, and all these other wheatgrass powder and barley powder can be additional stuff, right, that you get. So you can use that to manage your budget as well. That's another thing about keeping healthy. Sometimes we have to make sure that we balance our budget as well. Doc, your experience and comment about barley?
Yeah. Barley.
Yeah.
I think barley greens, right? It's not just barley, it's barley greens. Yeah.
Yeah, for barley, if it's barley greens, the whole food form, then it will be very helpful because barley is a whole grain. Okay. For whole grains, it's very important because it can reduce the risk of developing cancer and the colon cancer, to be more specific as well, no? But if it's in supplement form, then yes, it can still help because it has antioxidants. But when it comes to reducing the risk for developing colorectal cancer, or if for that matter you already have colon cancer, I am not sure if it works. Okay, I'm not sure if it works, right? But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
And back to the original question, someone asked about the tripola, something like that, right?
Triphala, yeah.
Triphala is actually an Ayurvedic herb, so that's Indian medicine, right? Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with Ayurvedic medicine. I am more familiar with TCM though, so I can't comment on that. So I really don't know. I will start looking into it. I have many Indian friends. A lot of my friends are good Indian friends, and a lot of my good friends, a lot of my good friends are Indian. So yes, and I actually have a partner, a good business friend who actually his business in Singapore and practices Ayurvedic medicine, but they use it more for wellness. So again, I'm so sorry, I can't comment on this one because it's new to me. Doc?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, same here. Chipala, yeah, I'm not familiar with it. So I don't know how it works. I don't know how much you should take. I don't know what it does. So I cannot comment on it really. But probably in the future, I might, read some stuff on it that's quite interesting or that can help people. Then I might share some info about it. Okay.
Yeah, this is the reason why doctors like your uncle will tell you don't take supplements. It's because the world of medicine or healing herbs and drugs is really, really very wide. All right. There are so many, how shall we say, so many schools of practices. I think in Philippines, you have this thing called Hilot. Is it Hilot? Hilot.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
So in my TCM program, there is Tuina, which is the Chinese version of Hilot. So it was very interesting that my lecturer for Tuina was talking about Hilot. So he found many similarities between Tuina and Hilot. So there really is so much out there, and each of us as medical specialists or medical practitioners, whether doctor or integrative or alternative or traditional, I like what my Tuina lecturer said. He said if Hilot doesn't work, it would not have lasted for so long. So I think that there is some things, there's some truth in there. It must have produced results for many, many people over many generations. That it's not like a milk tea trend, right? It's not. It's been around for hundreds of years. And Ayurvedic medicine also around for hundreds of years. In fact, Ayurvedic medicine and TCM medicine actually outdate, are even older than conventional medicine. It's just that the knowledge is totally a different paradigm. So yeah, we continue to grow our knowledge in this area. So as Dr. Jansen said, maybe one day we will go and read up about it. Maybe Dr. Jansen, you can go and read up about Ayurvedic. I'll do the TCM. You do the Ayurvedic, right? Then we can have an integrative program that uses the best of the East and West, North, South, East, West, every direction. But thank you for your question, and I hope that me making these statements will give you more confidence about how Dr. Jansen and I try our very best to be, how shall we say, objective and positive, because every long-lasting tradition in medicine has its potential benefits. And, as a cancer patient, I understand how you will want to look into every possible avenue to fight against cancer. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's a very good way to put it. Thank you, Sir Shyan. Okay, another question coming from Miss Nell. This was thrown to us privately. The question is, what's the remedy for feeling incomplete defecation?
Oh?
You're constipated. Eat more fiber and drink more water. That's it.
All right.
Pretty straightforward. Right. Okay, another question.
If you need help, try Cleansing Plus. All right. There's a Cleansing Plus available in I think five sachets.
5 sachets, 10 sachets.
Yeah, correct. So
box.
if you don't want to get a whole box, you just want to try and see if it works for you, try that, right?
Yes.
For Cleansing Plus, within 2 sachets, you'll know whether it works for you or not. All right. So there you go.
We always say get the box and just set it aside at home. Anytime you need it, then it's ready for you to use, right? Okay. All right. Next question coming from Mr. Peter. What's the advice on how to wean from meat? I do not feel full or strong enough with veggies.
Yeah, so one tip that you can do here is to replace meat. So use meat replacement foods, no? Like your processed vegetable meats, no, plant-based meats. So you can use those, no, as veggie meats, no, these things. Like your bean burger patty. What else? It's actually based most of the time from beans, no. Yeah, so you can eat those first. You can also try to consume more soy foods, no, like tofu. Yeah, so those foods, no, those foods are very high in protein. So you can try to eat those. And also, if you still feel the lack of satiety, so you don't get
Feel
satiated
full.
with just eating it, don't feel full. Yeah, just try to eat more. It's very difficult actually to gain weight if you are eating whole food, plant-based. Okay,
As long as you're not taking a
so
lot of carbs, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you're not taking in a lot of sugar and carbs, no. When we're talking about carbs, these are carbohydrates where the fiber content is low. Okay, so yeah, that's my tip for you. Use your plant-based meat alternatives.
So for me, I've actually managed to wean myself 90% off meat. The last 2 days I've actually been eating more meat because my wife she's thin and she complains that she needs to eat meat and then she eat in front of me. And I Dr. Jansen's laughing. She in front of me, but here's the good news. I'm not tempted anymore. But it's not economical lang, because we go out and eat together. Then she cannot finish the whole plate of meat, right? Because we obviously we like to eat Chinese foods. So Chinese food is for sharing. So that's one thing. But I will share with you how I successfully weaned off meat. I shared the secret with Dr. Jansen. I brought him to the restaurant where I eat, and then he said, "Oh, it's so easy to be vegan if you're eating at this place because everything is so delicious." Right. So I managed to find a delicious restaurant when it comes to eating out. Okay. For those of you who want to know, it's actually called Pu Tian. Okay. If you are living in Metro Manila, there's one in Mitsukoshi in BGC, and there's another one in Podium. And it's not expensive. Two-person can have a very full meal under 800 pesos. Enough to even take out. All right. Actually, if you're on a budget, you just want to be full, you can actually be full 2 persons under 500 or around 500 pesos. So that's 250 person at a real restaurant, and it's a Michelin star restaurant. So you just need to know what to order. It's actually very affordable. Okay. So that's one way. The other one is when I'm at home, I grill vegetables. So I just cut a clove of garlic, I put it in the air fryer. I slice bell peppers, red and green ones. I always eat a lot of mushrooms. I saute mushrooms, and I do it in a tortilla wrap, right? So I don't eat rice, I take a tortilla wrap. And I'm very full. Full, and it feels and I'm satiated. And even at this time, I would exercise 1.5 hours a day. I don't feel weak because I add hummus to the whole thing. So it's chickpeas that my wife orders from some online store, from some Indian online store, I think. So it's really, really cheap. Dr. Jansen, we go to a normal Mediterranean restaurant, it's like 300 pesos for that hummus. I make it on my own, it's like 20 pesos, right? So it's really, really cheap. So hummus is basically just chickpeas. You soak it overnight, it blooms up, then you put it in a rice cooker to cook it. You blend it with, it's very delicious, all right? You get some cumin seeds, cumin seed powder, all right? Put a bit of cinnamon, and Q pie, the brand Q pie, the Japanese mayo, right? They have the brown sesame, because you're supposed to put tahini, the actual hummus is tahini. It's like a lot of work. I just go and get the roasted sesame sauce, all right, and I pour that in there, and it's just so delicious, right? And that has, I believe that has sufficient protein. It's a legume, right? So I think it's very rich in protein as well, and that should help with your strength. And it's so delicious. I pop in cherry tomatoes, everything. I just pour a bit of garlic, olive oil on top, sprinkle a lot of basil leaves, and pop it into the oven. 10-12 minutes later, I put it in the tortilla and I eat. And I don't get sick of it. I can eat it every day. All right, so that's how I wean myself off meat, by finding vegetable dishes that I truly enjoy. That means you would like to eat them whether you are vegetarian or not. Okay, literally by taste, you literally enjoy it. That's how you wean yourself off meat. After that, I don't really have a craving for meat because I'm eating what I like.
Thank you, Sir Shyan. And what's good news for everybody who's trying to wean from meat is that even the famous fast foods right now, like the Shakey's and Kenny Rogers, they have vegan options now. So it's good news for people who are trying to lessen the meat intake. Okay.
Oh, Doc, someone asked, is hummus good for cancer patient? Doc, you're muted. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is, it is. Hummus is made from chickpeas. Chickpeas has very good anti-cancer properties actually. No?
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, chickpeas is part of the legume family. No? It's a bean, okay? So beans in general are quite good for cancer. No? This is also good for preventing or reducing uh cancer, reducing the risk for the onset of cancer. So, aside from chickpeas, some hummus recipes contain olive oil and parsley. Parsley is also quite good, and of course, your olive oil as well. Olive oil is omega-3 fatty acid. Okay? So you might want to consider eating hummus if you find yourself, in a position where you cannot find anything to put with your to combine with your salad or your bread.
Yeah, I just posted from YouTube just in case there's some of you who've never really tried hummus and you're wondering what the heck is Shen talking about. I posted the link onto the Facebook chat. You can just click on it, and then you know what hummus is.
Sir Sean, are you making your own hummus or you're buying it somewhere?
Oh, make your own. Because if you buy it, you spend like 500-600 pesos. You make it, it costs 50 pesos. That's a big difference. And no effort very little effort at all. You just soak it overnight because it's like your mongo, right? It's very hard. So you just soak it overnight, it will soften up. You don't need to ask me, how much water. Just throw it into the rice cooker lang. Just throw it in the rice cooker and cook it like rice. So it'll be cooked. Then after that, you do need a blender though. You need a blender, all right? So after that, just put it in, pour some the water that you cook it in a rice cooker, you pour it in pepper, cumin seed, cinnamon, and whatever creative things you want to put in there for taste, right? From Italian spices, basil, pepper, sesame sauce, the Kewpie one, yeah, all that. You just blend it and it will keep for about 3-4 days. So you do one time, you can eat it for the next four meals, right? So how long does it take me to do it? Including cleaning up, 15 minutes. So that's very short, right?
Thank you. There you go. A very quick recipe from Sir Shyan, from Sir Shyan Lim. Thank you, Sir Shyan. All right, next question coming from Ms. Rosalyn Rodriguito. Dr. Jansen, what is the correct dosage for you? I'm using PPARS Plus. My diagnosis is to consider myelofibrosis.
Okay, here's the thing. Until we know your correct diagnosis, we won't know the appropriate dose, no? But here's a tip, no? Because PPARs is made from microalgae. Microalgae are also quite good for detoxing, removing heavy metals from your body. So tablets are quite good for that. For the tablets, you can take between 20 to 30 micro tablets once a day. Okay? So that's just to give you an initial dose of detoxing so heavy metals get removed from your system. So how long should you be on it? Depending on how sick you are. Yeah, depending on how sick you are, no, it may range from a month to 2 months. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Okay, another question coming from Jonas Ulit. Can PPARs be used for skeletal or muscle health, like a supplement for recovering sports-related injuries? Good question.
Yeah, there are a lot of studies showing that athletes who consume microalgae like the microalgae found in Simply Nature PPARs, no, their recovery from their recovery time shortens. So it's really quite good for sports related injuries because of the simple reason that Simply Nature PPARs has very good antioxidant properties. Okay, so not just that, no, it's generally all microalgae. Microalgae are like that. The advantage of Simply Nature PPARs though is it has resveratrol. Resveratrol lowers your insulin resistance. So when you're insulin resistance is low or when you are quite sensitive to your insulin, then the inflammation, the background inflammation, no, the background inflammation inside your body is also quite low. Okay, so that's why I always use that kind of microalgae, the one Simply Nature has.
Just want to confirm, absolutely great for sports recovery and for sports injuries. All right. Now, for sports injuries, you might not be able to feel the impact so pronounced because you won't know whether you're healing faster or not. Unless you break your bones so often, you can tell the difference. All right. If not, you only break your bones once or twice in your life, you won't be able to tell, is this healing faster or not? Okay. But for regular sports recovery, so for example, if you are a person who runs or exercise, you either play sports, you can actually tell the difference. So recently, one of the most difficult clients, because this client is actually a ultra high net worth client, multi-billionaire, peso billionaire, all right? Very critical, very intellectual person. He will never say anything is good because I don't know why. Maybe just like that, the character is like that. But after taking our products, he actually said, you know what? I don't want to confirm yet. I want to test it a few more, a period longer. But I think your product actually has a significant impact on my sports recovery because he really exercises. He said he can feel the difference in the recovery. So I'm just saying one of the most difficult clients, but still is a very dear friend. But dear friend doesn't mean it's not a difficult person, right? Maybe Dr. Jansen will say, I'm a difficult person, I'm a dear friend, but a difficult person as well. But yeah, I'm so glad that this friend of ours actually said, yeah, you know what, your product actually, I think it's helping me on my sports recovery. So for those of you who are into, especially stamina, so if you run, you can actually find a big difference, okay? Or if you cycle or you do any sports like badminton, where your cardio, your endurance comes into play, you really see the recovery very fast, as in like you literally get more, you recover the next day, or even when you're playing the game, your stamina is greater than usual.
That's great to hear. I never knew that PPARS is actually way more than just boosting the immune system. It's also good for recovery.
Absolutely. Actually, when you look at physiologically speaking, because it modulates inflammation and so on and so forth, the many biochemical processes in our body it impacts sports. It impacts sports. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Shyan. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. All right. Next comment here coming from from Mante Family's vlog. Oh, I think there are influencers. Okay, hi Doc. Sana ma-meet ko kayo. I hope to meet you in person. Either you get or book a consult with Dr. Jansen or go to
March 16.
Yes.
Those of you who want to go on March 16, I will also encourage you to go and book IMAX Dune 2. I also want to go and watch this weekend, right? So it's an SMX Aura, so you have the few IMAX theaters in Philippines. Since you're there, we are very early in the morning, so you can book the 12:30, 2 o'clock show, okay, since you're at SMX and at SM Aura. And there are many wonderful restaurants there as well, so it can be an outing for your family as well. That's why we chose that location. Right.
Sir, I just want, because I see people asking about the March 16. I just want to flash very, very quickly the poster of our March 16 event and also the QR code where how you can purchase the ticket very, very quickly. All right, while I am already reading the next question. Okay, all right, coming from Miss Prima Bakay, a midwife from Mandaluyong, is myoma active? I guess the question is myoma normally active after menopause? That's the question.
No. Usually, if you develop myomas when you are still menstruating, and the myoma is still there, it's just there. You don't experience any symptoms at all. Your OB will wait for you to undergo menopause and see again if it shrinks. Because myoma is hormone sensitive, okay? Now, when you undergo menopause, of course, your hormones will all go down, and the myoma should reduce in size as well or disappear totally, depending on the size. Okay. Now, if you still have myoma, no, after postmenopausal and it's causing problems like if you have bleeding, no, you have spotting, then my suggestion is go on hormone replacement therapy. Try to control the bleeding. If it is profuse, if the bleeding is just profuse, no, you have difficulty in controlling the bleeding, then it's better to have it removed. Okay, or else you'll have you'll have repeated blood transfusion. Um, and blood transfusion can have a lot of risks as well. Okay, because bloodborne infections are always a risk, no, when it comes to blood transfusions. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. And just for everybody to know, we have patients who used to have myoma for surgery after taking PPARs. No need to go for surgery. So there you go. All right. Okay, coming from Miss Janet Simafranca, how to identify the type of pain in the colon area, which may be a sign of cancer already? Oh,
Oh,
question.
Very difficult. Actually, it has to be correlated on your history. So I have to know your story for me to pinpoint, this might be pain coming from cancer. So pain coming from cancer, no, especially colorectal cancer, can come from any part of your abdomen. Upper part, left, right, down, mid. Okay? Can come from any of those areas. So it has to be correlated with your history, number one, and number two, of course, your risk factors as well. So with these, if you still suffer from pain, then that would warrant an investigation. So lab tests will be requested by your doctor. Okay, so yeah, it's very difficult to diagnose colorectal cancer actually, especially in the younger age group. However, the problem there is more and more young people develop colorectal cancer nowadays.
Most especially if the pain, doc, is prolonged already.
no, I wanted to ask, right? Colorectal cancer, is it a slow developing cancer? And why I ask this question is this. For any viewer that asks you this question, they must have some inkling or fear, or they must have some sufficient reason to suspect that they have colorectal cancer. Most likely, they also know they have not been living a healthy life. And then they are feeling this pain, so they are also worried. So, number one, I'm asking this question because if you are worried, go for a diagnostic, right? Go and see a doctor. And let's say the doctor say, okay, let's go and check it out. Once you check out one time, right? How safe are you? For the next 3 years, 4 years? I mean, how long does it take to develop colorectal cancer? So that it's worth it, right? So that it's worth it. If you're so worried, because here it is, guys. Cancer does not develop overnight. So if you do the diagnosis, you are pretty much, if 2 months later you have the same fear, you know it's not cancer, because cancer doesn't pop up in 2 months, right? Especially if you did a thorough checkup. So doc, how based on my direction that I'm going, if a person does go for, let's say, a scan and everything, he's safe for how long?
Typically, we go for screening once every 10 years, okay, for colorectal cancer to screen. However, that is for the general population. If you are low risk, if you have a family history of colorectal cancer, or you know deep in your heart that you're just eating junk, no, then have
Yes.
it done every 5 years.
Oh, so good. To the viewer who asked this question, okay, if you test it, you go and see a doctor and test it, and especially if you see a doctor and then you go for diagnostics like a scope and scan, you can sleep with peace for the next 5 years. So I think it's so worth it, right? I think it's so worth it so that you don't freak out. Or else for the next 5 years, every time you have pain, you're gonna wonder, do I have colon cancer? So and if you don't have a history, it's 10 years. So great, right?
In short, don't endure the pains. You have a consult already, perhaps with Doc Jansen Kalalan. All right. Okay. I guess this will be our next. This next question will be our last question for tonight, coming from Ms. Nerissa Ancheta. What are the other ways, except for chemotherapy, that can a 70-year-old male do to fight cancer? 70-year.
Very good question. However,
Good
I need to
question.
know what type of cancer it is to answer you. Definitely, no. My suggestion is go for a consult so I can make the appropriate recommendation. But just to answer your question, aside from chemo, there are a lot of methods that we can do, no, for a 70-year-old person. So of course, you have your surgery, your radiation therapy, you have your immunotherapy, targeted hormone therapy as well, no? Integrative medicine treatment modalities like megadose IV vitamin C can work as well. I also use medications that I repurpose for cancer. Okay. Um, the main approach there is metabolic therapy against cancer. So the concept there is to starve the cancer cells using those medications. So we can do that. Okay. There are a lot of other supplements that we can utilize, though, to hasten the shrinkage of the tumor. Yeah, there are a lot. So Simply Nature PPARs is one of them. There are a lot that I use. Okay, so just know this. There will always be something that we can do. Okay, because there's really that much. Yeah. So so that's it. No. So and just to I hope this helps you alleviate your fear right now. No, chemotherapy is not the first line cancer treatment modality nowadays already. It's actually second line. But of course, depending on the cancer type, no. But for breast cancer, it's not chemotherapy. That is first in line. And your oncos will always consider other treatment modalities first before considering putting you on chemotherapy. Okay.
Very
Yeah.
encouraging. Yes, Sir Sean?
And for me, is straight away, like what Dr. Jansen say, plenty of protocols, plenty of things that you can do apart from chemotherapy. I totally understand. My dad is actually 78 years old this year, right? So when he was 74, there was he's a cancer survivor for throat cancer. So there was something growing again, and they had to do a biopsy. So before the results came out, he informed us that he went for a biopsy. So I'm just sharing with you why I totally understand where you're coming from. Because my first question I asked my dad is, Dad, how do you want us to support you if it turns out to be cancer? Do you want to go aggressively treat it? What do you want? And my dad is very strong. Okay, he's like a bull. All right. Okay, his temper is also like a bull. All right. And then my dad said to me, son, don't need to waste money. I just want to feel good. Doesn't want to go for chemotherapy or surgery, right? So I'm like, okay. So we knew what to do. Then from there, we could choose many approaches. The first, of course, is PPAR and other things. And thank goodness it was benign. So as Dr. Jansen suggested, advice, he can't give you a specific advice right now because you're not in front of him. He can't ask that question that I asked my dad. What do you want to do, right? And my dad told me the reason why he didn't want to go for chemotherapy and surgery or any aggressive fight against cancer is, he said, the best days of his life is over, right? He didn't want to aggressively go for treatment and then have a poor quality of life because he didn't know how long God gave him anyway. And he was already 74. So he just wanted to at least enjoy whatever time he had left, not fighting the cancer, but more like embracing life. So he did tell us he would rather spend the money to keep strong and do things that he wants to do. He didn't need extra time to spend with us because he felt that he has seen enough of our faces. Okay, he was happy with his life already. So again, just to share with you, the good news is, yeah, there are many protocols. Dr. Jansen would probably have to ask to understand where you and your loved one and your family, where do you want to go? What is it in your heart that you want to achieve for your dad? Right? Okay.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Doc Jansen, very, very quickly, I guess yes or no. Okay. Just a pahabol question from Ms. Jen Chang. Does celiac disease a risk factor for colorectal cancer?
Okay, so first, what's celiac disease? Celiac disease is basically gluten insensitivity. Gluten insensitivity, okay? This is a disease that basically falls under food intolerance. Okay, celiac disease have, when you look into the literature, no, the medical community is divided whether celiac disease increases the risk for colorectal cancer or it doesn't. Okay, it's equivocal. So my stand there is I won't look into celiac disease per se to know if you have an increased risk of colorectal cancer. I will look into your other health issues to look to know no for sure if you have if you have an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer or not. Okay, but celiac disease per se, again, the medical community is um undecided on it. Yeah. So that's your answer. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doc Jansen. All right, well, that's actually our last question for tonight. And for those of the questions that we weren't able to answer, don't worry. You can ask again your questions next week, or definitely we'll get in touch with you after the program. Okay, of course, just before we say goodbye to our viewers, very quick parting words that we would like to request for each one of you. Who would like to go first? Shall we go first with Doc Jansen? Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to thank all of you, know, for all your wonderful questions. So if there are people out there who we weren't able to answer the questions, please ask them again next week, or better yet, go to SMX Aura no, on March 16. So you can ask them personally, and you can also get the answers of the other two doctors. Yeah, it's two, right? We're gonna be three. Yeah, three doctors on board. And of course, Mr. Shyan Lim no, on March 16. So you can get all the information that you want. Okay? All from different perspectives. Okay? So yeah, there you have it. Thank you, everyone.
You, Doc Jansen. Sir Sean?
Same here. Thank you everyone for making this program a success. For Doc Jansen, we're probably gonna hit how many episodes? 200 episodes this year. Right? So we've really been doing this for a long time. And thank you. We really love the AMA, right? We love the interaction like this. And Doc Jansen and I actually know quite a few doctors, which we will try to onboard onto our program so that you get even more doctors that you can ask questions to, right? And that we can have a live discussion. But the best time is this March 16. I cannot stress how wonderful it is to have surgeon, integrative medicine, and lifestyle and full natural medicine. And all three of them are medical doctors. All right. So this is not like non-medical doctors. And it's very, very wonderful because normally you will never hear a surgeon or oncologist tell you to eat supplements. And yet he's going to be sitting right beside Dr. Jansen. Right. And then so it's really nice, you as a patient, normally when we ask these doctors, they give us different answers, but now they can't give us different answers because they're all sitting together. And if they're giving different answers, you can ask, how come Dr. Jansen say this, Dr. Jimmy, why you say something else? Right. So this wonderful setup. And I think you're going to enjoy yourself and you're going to get your solutions to your questions. So thank you again. See you next week.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you, Doc Jansen, for answering our questions for tonight. This is on behalf of our viewers. Okay. And of course, we look forward not only for next week, but of course, this coming March 16 for you to answer our questions live face-to-face. All right. But just before the March 16, I'd like to still invite you for our next webinar next Thursday. That's 7:30, also 7:30 in the evening. That's March 14. The title of our webinar is Fighting Back Against Breast Cancer. So empowerment through action. There you go. Now, calling all cancer patients, survivors, advocates, let us all come together to explore the latest advancement in cancer treatment and engage in a multidisciplinary experts dedicated to enhancing your well-being. So this is happening this March 16. That's a Saturday at 8 a.m. At SMX SMR. Our panel of experts is composed of a KPRS expert, lifestyle medicine doctor, integrative doctor, and a surgical oncologist. And take advantage of the face-to-face AMA portion where you can ask our doctors live during the event. So this is limited slots only. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Reserve your seat. Bring your friends along. On-site participants, please listen. You can avail the exciting promos and freebies during that day. So once again, these exciting promos await only those who will be attending the SMX event this coming March 16 at SMX Aura. So be sure to purchase your tickets as early as now because tickets are selling really, really fast and limited slots only. So please don't forget to secure your tickets so you are able to also avail of the exciting promos on site. Okay? So what are you waiting for only 150 pesos for a ticket? Either on-site, face-to-face, or via online live Zoom webinar if you're outside Metro Manila. So buy tickets using GCash. Just scan the QR code shown on your screen and send us the receipt via Facebook Messenger, and we will be the one reserving the tickets and seats for you. So we are very, very excited to see you all this coming March 16. Okay, we always do this online AMA portion during our webinars, but it's extra exciting. All right, this coming March 16, that's a Saturday once again. All right, so I hope to see you once again in our next webinars to come, because here in Simply Nature, we're always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everybody. Good night, and God bless you all.
There is a miracle in this Simply Nature.
Marami po akong natutunan dito sa seminar na ito.
I would recommend it to people who have illnesses, even cancer.
We are always with you from start to healing.
Hi, this is Shyan, and I'm here to update you with a quick teaser. October 14th of 2023, we had our very first post-pandemic face-to-face conference on cancer, and it was a smash hit. The participants loved the ability to ask our panelists of myself, Dr. Jansen, our expert in lifestyle medicine, and Dr. Jimmy Katapia, who's our oncological surgeon. They were able to get all the answers they wanted about cancer and whether or not to go for surgery. So we are planning in 2024 another session by popular demand, because everyone wanted us to have another one so that they can bring their friends. So a quick teaser, we're going to have back Dr. Jansen, Dr. Jimmy Katapia, so all of you with questions on chemotherapy, on surgery, the doctors and the panelists are there to answer your question. And we have an upcoming special guest. We are hoping to get someone who is going to be an expert on diagnosis, something as very interesting like liquid biopsy, all right? So that's something new and on the cutting edge of cancer diagnostics. So those of you who could not make it for our face-to-face, well, this time round in 2024 on March 16th, we're gonna do ours with a Zoom option. So those of you who are in the province who can't join us here in Metro Manila, look out for the details so that you can join us on the Zoomcast.